No one has done this. Raise your hand who have completed the task given in last lecture to prove that in purely inductive circuit, the power, instantaneous power, average power, not instantaneous power, but average power over cycle 0 to 2 pi is 0. I have asked you to prove this. So if you have done that and if you can share it, please raise your hand. Okay, roll number 35. Janish.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can share it. Screen share. And I'm going. Just a moment. Yeah, okay. Everyone is now able to see this. Just take your camera a little bit back. Show the whole page at once. Okay. Now here you can see he has started with this point Vm. Where is the starting? At this point. P is equal to 1 by 2 pi 0 to 2 pi P into d theta. We know that. Zoom it over here where the above one where you have done it first time for Janice, just make your camera a little bit steady and zoom in on the first section. Yeah,
Sir,
correct.
screenshot મોકલી દઉં.
Yeah, share the screenshot. It would be better.
સર પોસ્ટની પરમિટ નથી ચેટ બોક્સમાં.
Janice, can you do that now?
No, sir.
Okay, anyone else who have a screenshot directly like share the screen? There was two other. Moksha was there and someone was there. Moksha, can you share that?
Sir, I can't do screen sharing,
Okay,
but I can share the photo.
send it to directly my personal chat. Like you can directly text personal chat. I'll show it to you.
Sir, you are not audible.
So on that day, we have derived the equation for the power, and that equation was P is equal to V into I. Okay. So that's the equation of the power. So let me quickly do it. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'll do it on my own. So we have this equation. No issue, Mox. You can stop there. I'll be deriving it to quickly. So we have that equation V is equal to V into I. Now we know that E or EMF E is equal to EM sine omega t, and my equation for the current, that I is equal to Im sine omega t minus pi by 2.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
So this was the equation for inductive. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this was the equation for the power, instantaneous power. Now we want to actually derive the equation for the average power over one cycle. So we can do the integration of this equation over 0 to 2 pi. We'll put 1 over 2 pi, integration over 0 to 2 pi, and what I'll get is by having this equation, I'll simplify this equation, and what I'll get at that time by simplifying this equation is this is my En sin omega t. This sign can be represented as minus cos. So the final equation that I'll get is minus Em Im divided by 2 sine 2 omega t. Okay. By simplifying this equation, I can get this equation. Okay. First, I'll represent this sign as a cos, so I'll get minus sign minus cos omega t,
Sir,
and
screen visible नहीं है.
screen visible नहीं है. I shared the screen. Everyone is able to see the screen or not?
No, sir.
Sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
No,
No, sir.
Is it visible now? Is it visible
sir.
now?
no, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Still not visible. You can see this screen where you can.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Screen is not visible, sir.
Yes, sir. Now visible.
Yes, sir. Now visible it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mox, can you see this OneNote screen? Mox.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So now you can simplify this equation of power. This equation Em sin omega t into Im sin omega t minus pi by 2, and you can derive this equation from that by just substituting in sine with cos. So I'll get here a minus cos, and there is an equation for sine into cos, so you'll get sine 2 omega t. So this is the final equation of instantaneous power, minus Im by 2 sine 2 omega t. So I am going to integrate this equation. So here I'll get minus Im divided by 2 sine 2 omega t. Okay. Now integrating this equation will get me Em Im divided by this 2 into 2 4 pi and minus cos 2 theta, or you can say minus cos 2 omega td. Okay, so what I have done is I will represent as omega t as theta. So I am going to integrate over d theta, and I'll get 2 theta divided by 2 over 0 to 2 pi. So minus sign here, that there is a minus sign earlier, and I have this sine to cos, that would be minus cos. So minus minus is gone, and I have this plus sign now. So cos 2 theta by 2 over 0 to 2 pi. Now what I'll get is Im upon 4 pi, and along with that I'll get cos 4 pi minus cos 0. Sorry, this won't be 4, this will be 8. Just 2 into 4 is 8. So cos 4 pi minus cos 0. So cos 4 pi minus cos 0. We know that the cos 4 pi value is 1 and cos 0 value is also 1. So 1 minus 1 would be 0. 0 multiplied with anything will get me 0. So this is how you get average power of reactive element or inductor. Average power transfer using your inductive circuit would be always 0. So the conclusion is whether it be a capacitance or it be inductance. If it is a purely inductive or purely capacitive circuit, in that case, that both of that do not consume power. So though power would transfer in that case, but that power would be dissipated in terms of that producing magnetic field, and again it will transfer back. So whenever you have inductive or a capacitive element present in your circuit, at that time it won't consume any active power. So we are going to have the definition of active power and reactive power. What is active power and what is reactive power? So that was the derivation that I asked you. Now let's quickly go to the. So we have completed where we have RL series circuit, and we have this equation of my voltage V, and equation for I have derived later on. I is equal to V by under root R square plus XL square, where R square plus XL square is known as Z. Okay, so that Z is impedance. Value of impedance is equal to under root R square plus XL square, and the phase angle phi can be given by tan phi is equal to VL by VR, that has coming from this figure. Here I have VL and VR. Okay. How I have drawn this phasor, that's also important. Initially I know that I would be phased in with resistance. So resistive element drop would be in phase with I. So VR and I would be on same line. Then I know in case of inductor, my current is leading or lagging. What would be there? My current is always lagging to voltage. So that's why this is my current phasor. So to represent this as a lagging, I have to lead my voltage by 90 degrees. So that's why I will draw this phasor VL like this, and this is my VL. So the actual waveform that I'll get is V. This is my actual V, that is VR plus VL on phasor representation. And from this triangle, I am deriving this equation as well as these two equations. The equation for current is also being derived from this only. And this is the calculation of instantaneous power, and then we have calculated the average power consumed in your RL series circuit. So here your average power is V into I cos phi, okay, where V and I represent the RMS value of voltage and current. So Vm by root 2 is actually my RMS value of voltage, and Im by root 2 is RMS value of current. So this is my average power, and we have seen what is power factor and how you can draw a waveform of V and I along with the power waveform. Now we will understand the terminology of active, reactive, apparent power. So apparent power is actually the power that we calculate by putting V into I, and that power is measured in VA. So this triangle, you can have an example of a car that is being pulled by a child. Like we have this toy car. Okay. We have generally done this. We have this toy car, and if I have attached a string over here like this, and if I pull this car, my all the work done is in the same direction of the car moving. In that case, I am consuming all power, or active power is consumed to move this car. But in real life scenario, when a child is there like this, he is pulling this car at this angle. So there are actually two components of the energy. One is being in horizontal and the other one is being in vertical. And we know this vertical element is of no use, but the actual work done is only in horizontal direction. So the car will be moving only due to this component, that is horizontal in direction. Same way, in power, your actual power or apparent power is power that carries two power, active and reactive component. Okay? Where active component is actual power consumed in the circuit, and reactive power is the power which is not consumed but it helps to transfer the power. Okay. So how to find out the apparent power? It is very easy. V into I is apparent power, and it is measured in volt into M. This is the representation of that same thing. This is my apparent power, this is my active power and reactive power, and the angle between my active power and apparent power is known as phi, and this is my power factor. Active power, the power which actually consumed in AC circuit. Okay, so like resistive element, there would be a loss in the resistive element. It will consume some power. I square R losses we say. That is actual power that is being consumed inside your active elements of the circuit. So resistance is the active element of circuit. So that power would be lost. That is actually power. That power is known as active power. Okay. Then there is a reactive power. How to calculate that active power? So if this is VI, we know that if this is a phi, the active power would be VI cos phi. Okay. So VI was there already, and cos phi is due to this angle. So if I want to find out this, it would be VI cos phi, and the reactive power would be VI sin phi. Active power is measured in watt. Okay. So lot of instrument you will see at your home would be rated in watt. One example, your fan is rated at 75 watt, but or 70 watt. That is actually rated in active power. There is also some reactive power that is required to run the fan, but it is not rated in case of your household electrical equipment. But if you talk about industries, in industries they have to pay for the active power as well as reactive power. Their meters would be different, but the meter at your home, energy meter that you use at your home, are only measuring active power. So you know that the application like 200 units may consume 200 unit no bill आयो. So actually that bill is based on kilowatt. Okay, so if I say 200 unit may consume what does that mean? That means 200 unit. When I say 200 unit, that means I have consumed 200 kilowatt of power. Okay, 200 kilowatt of power I have consumed. How to measure this? Like how one is able to measure this? For an example, you have a 40 watt light at your home. જે આપણા ઘરે ફ્લોરોસન્ટ લાઇટ હોય છે વ્હાઇટ કલરનો જે ધંધો, that is 40 watt or 45 watt light. Okay, active power માં જ એ rated કરેલી હોય, and if you use it for 10 hours, so 10 into 40, that is 400 watt of power that you use. And if you want to convert it to unit, you can say it is 0.4 unit of power that is converted. Like 1 unit is equal to 1 kilowatt of power. So if you have AC, air conditioning system, or heater element, or gas heat, like electric heater, water heater, they are rated somewhere around 1.5 kilowatt to 2.5 kilowatt depending on the capacity, but generally it start off with 1 to 1.5 kilowatt. So let us say I have a 1.5 kilowatt heater at my home. Okay, winter season છે આપણે heater use કરતા હોય છે ઘરે, બરાબર છે? તો let us say that is 1.5 kilowatt of heater. Maybe it is a general room heater, or maybe it is the ones we use in bathroom to heat the water, but let us say it is 1.5 kilowatt of heater. Now how it is converted, like how we measure the unit? So actually what we are doing is this is just instantaneous power, but that conversion to unit is always done in kilowatt per hour. So if you consume 1 kilowatt per hour, it is converted as 1 unit of energy. So here what you do is, let us say you have used for 30 minutes. Okay, now I want to convert this to unit. So you cannot directly say that is 1.5 unit. You cannot do that. Why? Because this is 1 kilowatt per hour. Like kilowatt per hour is the conversion. Like if you want to convert to unit to watt hour, it is kilowatt per hour. So okay, so here I am using 1.5 kilowatt for 30 minutes only. So this 30 minutes is actually only half an hour. So I can say it is 0.5 hour. So multiplying this 1.5 with my 0.5, okay, so this is my kilowatt rating and this is my hour rating. So 1.5 multiplied by 0.5. So I am actually only using 0.75 unit of power. I don't know, this pen is not supporting me today. Even the crash was due to that only. Okay, so this is how active power is measured. So unit energy you consume at your home or at your some corporate office, like the ones where you do regular things, okay, be it a grocery store nearby you or something else, they all pay according to the active power consumption. But if you go to industry where a lot of machines are there, in that case they have to pay for active power as well as reactive power. Okay, because once the reactive power consumption is higher, like demand of reactive power is higher, the power factor drops and the apparent power, like this graph, this apparent will go like this. Okay, and once that is done, the active power component is very less in the system and we require only this active power component. So you have to improve power factor. So industry use the power factor devices to improve their power factor, and they generally maintain it power factor from 0.95 to 1 to have the minimal charges of reactive power. They maintain it to 0.95 to 1. Okay, like to maintain it to 1 is very difficult, but 0.95 is somewhat possible. So generally they do this at 0.95. Now what is the reactive power? So power drawn by the circuit due to reactive component of current is called reactive power. What are the reactive components? There are two. First one is capacitance and the other one is inductance. There are only two elements that will require reactive power. Why that reactive power is required? Like first question is that how that reactive power is required. So in inductance, to generate magnetic fields, it needs a current which is lagging behind the voltage. That's why it required a reactive power. From that only the reactive power is generated. Same way in capacitive element, you required a power which can generate static field. So here to generate a static field, you require a current that is leading with your voltage by 90 degree and we have seen these two graphs. The one graph is like this. This is V, this is I for capacitor, and in case of that V, and this is my I in case of my inductive. So to fulfill this demand, to generate that field, be it electrostatic field or magnetic field of inductor, to generate that field, reactive power is required. Like to generate and maintain reactive power is required, but it never consume it. Like it generated and it gives it back. Okay, but it would be lagging. So average power of reactive element is always zero. So your inductor or capacitor do not consume power at all. But in case of your resistive element, you will consume the power. If you integrate it over 1 to 2, 0 to 2 pi, you will get something. Okay, and so average power is consumed in the active element. So active power is always consumed, but reactive power is never consumed. It just transfer from one point to other point and comes back. Okay, so average power of reactive element is always zero. So power drawn by this circuit due to reactive component of current is called reactive power, noted as Q, voltage into reactive component, that is V into I sin phi. Okay, so this part, reactive power VI sin phi, and it measured in var. Okay, VAR is the unit of measuring the reactive power. Apparent power is measured in VA. So this is voltage of reactive element. So var is voltage of reactive element. Let me take the exact term. I have to think that. Voltage ampere reactive is the term for this VAR. Voltage ampere reactive. Okay, VA was voltage ampere. This is voltage ampere of reactive due to reactive element. That's why this R is there. So reactive power is measured in VAR. Now, this is one more, like this is the same example of like apparent power, that this triangle. It's the same. Just drawn the otherwise. When it has been like this, when a purely inductor and pure capacitor do not consume any power, means that during positive half cycle they receive power and return the source, the power back to source in negative cycle. This power which flows back is called reactive power, and if it is an inductive element, then this graph would look like this. If it is a capacitive element, then this graph will go upside due to this active reactive graph. Like, okay, so it depends on how this phasor representation is there. It's just purely due to your element, whether it is inductor or whether it is a capacitor. The ones which I have is capacitive. This is due to inductive. So here again same, apparent power is V into I, this element, and Vi cos phi is active power and Vi sin phi is reactive power. Now we have an example. You have to calculate this first example on your own. Let us first see what is the information and how you can go ahead. A coil takes 2.5 ampere when connected across 200 volts. So the current is given and the voltage is given. Now what this current and voltage is, like this would be the RMS value. Whenever some values are given, would be RMS values. Instantaneous value would not be given directly. It would be given in form of equation if it is instantaneous values or maximum values. But when you see 2.5 ampere, it is RMS value, and 200 volt is also RMS value. The frequency F, 50 Hz is given. So this is the information about the source. 2.5 ampere current is required by the coil, 200 volt is applied, and 50 Hz is the frequency of the main. The power consumed by the coil is found to be 400 watt. Now this 400 watt is actually given like what? That means this is an active element. Calculate the resistance and inductance of a coil. You have to calculate resistance and inductance. How you can proceed in this example? First, this is the information given: V, I, F and P. Whenever I say V and I, that is RMS values. Keep that in mind. These two are RMS values. So first of all, I can find out my power. But power is already given. Okay, so it is actually Vi cos phi. But other than that, as it is an active element of the circuit, you can also calculate it using I square R. So P is equal to I square R. So this equation is without cos phi. Okay, so it is I square R. How you can get this value? We know I is 2.5. We don't know R, but we know T. So I can calculate R from this equation. So R would be 64 ohms. Then once I find out this, what I can do is I can calculate the impedance of coil. We know the impedance of coil is equal to Z by VI. From where this is coming? This is coming from the first triangle that we have seen. This. Okay. So this is the equation of I, and this is the equation of your I is equal to V by Z. Okay. We are using that equation. Z is equal to V by I. Impedance is equal to V by I. So I know the total impedance is 80 ohm. Now if the resistance is 64 ohm and total impedance is 80 ohm, I can easily calculate my inductance. How? Z is equal to under root R square plus XL square. Again, this equation is from that same theory. See, here we have derived that equation. This equation R square plus XL square. So we have represented as Z, but Z is equal to under root R square plus XL square. I know the value of R, so I can find out the XL. Z is 80 ohm impedance. We have found out the impedance to be 80 ohm by dividing V by I. Yeah, go ahead.
सर ये पी तो लूज ऑफ एनर्जी होती है ना, तो हम पी इक्वल टू वी स्क्वायर बाय आर नहीं ले सकते?
You can also do that. No, that are the same form of the equation. Like if you substitute value of I, you will get that equation. If you substitute value of R, you can get the other equation. There are three equations related to that. You can use either of three depending on the information given. That answer would be same in all of the cases. So now this 80 ohm is impedance, and from this equation we can get my value of XL. Okay. So this is how I have done that. And then once I get the inductance, what I can do is I can find out my inductance. This is just like what we'll say. I forgot the term. We say that impedance of my inductor. That is particular word. Let me just quickly go through it. What was that word? Reluctance. This is known as reluctance. I found out reluctance, and then from reluctance, depending on the frequency, I can get my value of inductance. Inductance is measured in Henry. So XL is equal to 2 pi FL, and from this equation we can get my value of inductance. So XL, that is reluctance, is 48 ohm. This is measured in ohm. Reluctance is measured in ohm. So from that value we know that 2 pi f, okay, omega L, or you can write 2 pi f. If angular frequency is given, you can use omega directly. If it is not given, you can use 2 pi f. By putting value of f 50, you can get this equation. L is equal to you can get this value. L is equal to 1.53 Henry. We'll do one or two more examples. I'm going to give you a solution because we are lacking for some time. A power dissipated of 1.2 kilowatt occurs. So power dissipation is given. Okay, so this is consumption of active power. 1.2 kilowatt occurs when a sinusoidal wave of 100 volt RMS is applied to an RL series circuit, and a current flow is given by, now this current given, I is equal to 28.3 into sine 314 t minus 5. Determine impedance, resistance and inductance. Okay, so first you have to find out Z, R and L, power factor of the circuit, and voltage across R and L. How you can do that? Again, same procedure. The data given is this P. Okay, how I get omega? Like what is like how I can say omega is 314? This equation is Im sine omega t minus 5. If you look at this equation, this is Im sine omega t minus 5. So even I can say Im is equal to 28.3. See, this value of I is Im. We have derived this equation Im sine omega t minus 5. If I compare this equation with this one, I'll get two values. Im is equal to 28.3 and my omega, that is 314. Okay, again you can put it into pi f and you can get value of f, that would be 50. You can do this if frequency is asked, but here frequency is not asked, so I'm not going into that. Okay, now from this Im I can have my IRMS value. We know that IRMS value is equal to maximum value divided by root 2. So Im by root 2 is my IRMS value, so I can get IRMS value. So this is the calculation of IRMS value. I have used this Im from this equation only. So Im 28.3 divided by root 2, that is 20 ampere. That's answer. Now I can go ahead with my resistance. So I know P. What is value of P? Power dissipation. Whenever power dissipation is given or power consumed is given, that is I square R losses. So it is 1.2 kilowatt. So 1.2 kilowatt, using that value, I can find out my value of R, and that's 3 ohm. Once you get this, now you can find out the impedance Z is equal to V by I. Same procedure that we have followed in the previous example. Okay. Z is equal to V by I. So this is my total impedance. Now Z is equal to under root R square plus X square. Using that I can get my reluctance value, that is 4 ohm. Once I get reluctance, I can find out my inductance. It is same up to this point. Okay. Reluctance is not calculated over here, but you can, inductance is not calculated over here, but you can calculate using 2 pi FL, XL is equal to 2 pi FL, XL is 4 ohm, and 2 pi F is actually your 314. So 4 divided by 314 is L. So L would be 4 divided by 314. It is not given. Not defined. Okay, so whatever is the value, we'll get that value. Let me calculate it. 0.012. So it is 12 millihenry. I can say 12 into 10 to minus 3. 12 millihenry of the inductance. How I can get this? Using this equation. XL is equal to 2 pi FL. 2 pi is nothing but omega. Okay. It is given 314. So I can put 314 here, 4 over here, and I can easily get my value of L. I can get power factor by RZ. Again, from where it is coming? It is coming from that same triangle that we have seen earlier. See, let me quickly go to here. Where it is. It is not directly given, but cos phi. This cos phi. Again, you will have one more triangle which looks like this, where you will this R, XL, and then DZ. Okay. See, we'll have R, we'll have XL like this, and then you will have a Z like this. And this is my angle phi. This phi and this phi would be same, because this is the reason why that has been created. So I can get my value of that power factor using this triangle. Okay, what is the value? The value of power factor is R by Z. Okay. Why R by Z? If you look again is this figure, we know power factor is cos phi. So cos phi is R divided by Z. This is XL. Cos phi is R divided by Z. That's why it is R by Z. It is 0.6 lagging. Why lagging? Because we have inductive element. If it is a capacitive element, it would be leading. So actually, I have to draw it like this. No worries. I just explain what is power factor. That's fine. And then you have to find out the voltage across different element. Voltage across R would I into R. We know the R 3 ohm, so I can get the voltage using voltage division rule, or you can have that voltage directly using current. We know the IRMS current is 20. So all the calculation will be based on IRMS, so 60 volt, and same way XL into I would get me the voltage across L. Okay. See, I am not using L over here. L is inductance. What I am using is XL, that is reluctance, that is measured in ohm. Then I can get my voltage across L is IXL. Okay, so do not mistaken this with L. L is inductance. It is the value of your inductance. Like Henry ma je value calculate kare chhe. When we learn chapter 4, at that time we have discussed that. So, and this the phasor representation is also asked, showing the current and voltages. Draw the vector diagram showing the current and voltages. So first draw the current, then I know that IR losses would be along in the phase. So I'll represent it like this, 60 volt. Okay, then I know the inductive voltage would be lagging behind, like current would be lagging behind the voltage. So I have to lead the voltage by 90 degrees. That's why this is I. So I'll represent IXL like this. That would be 80 volt, and then I would have my value of I Z, that is 100 volt. Okay. So this is how a phasor is represented. So first I'll draw I. This is my I. Then I know IR losses always occur along, like in phase with the current. That's why I will represent it like this. This is my IR losses. Then I know the losses or the voltage across this inductor VL, or known as IXL, is always, there is a phase difference between that two by 90 degrees. So voltage is leading by 90 degree to the current. That's why I have to lead the voltage. So this is current. How I can lead the voltage? By having a 90 degree before that. So this is my VL. And then the representation, like the final phasor would be this. That is my actually I into Z. This is how you can prepare your phasor for voltages and currents. Okay, so this was example 2, and there is one more example. A chalk coil having a resistance of 10 ohm and inductance. Now see, inductance is given. It is 63.7 millihenry and resistance is given. So from this you have to find out your XL, reluctance. Is connected in series with a resistance of 5 ohm. So there are two resistors, 10 ohm of the resistor of your chalk coil, along with one more resistor is collected with this 5 ohm. So circuit is looks like this. See how these two resistors are coming in. That is also important. So this is my 5 ohm resistance, okay, and this is my 10 ohm resistance. Now how can I say this is a 10 ohm resistance? When you have this coil is actually made up of some material. Let us say it is copper. So if I round up like copper new spring, so in that case what will happen? There would be some length of this coil. Okay, and like koi ek wire line mein rotate spring banai. In that case that would be have some length. And koi cross section area bhi ase, let us say that is A. In that case it would have some resistivity as well, like copper ni koi resistivity ase. So R is equal to rho L by A. Using this equation you can find out this R, but it is right now directly given 10 ohm. So whenever you have any inductor is actually made of coil, and it is made of some material. That's why it will have its own resistivity. So koi divas inductor, pure inductor hu kau, that is not existence, because there is always some resistance in the inductor itself. The material material banayu છે ત્યાં જેનું resistivity add થઈ જાય છે. So 10 ohm resistance given of coil, અને coil ની બીજી એક property કીધેલી છે, that is inductance itself, 63.7 millihenry. That two are different. A 10 ohm તેનો actual resistance છે, that will require active power. This will require reactive power, અને આ 5 ohm નો બીજો એક additional resistance છે. ખબર છે? So keep that in mind. Small r is the resistance of my coil. So this is the data given. આપણને current, voltage, power factor, voltage across 5 ohm resistors and power આટલું કીધું છે. How to do this? So first find out XL. Again omega L. Like omega L ક્યાંથી આવી ગયું direct? It is actually 2 pi FL. So if you calculate value of 2 pi F, you will get this 314. Okay, F is given. See, 50 Hertz is given. So you can get this value XL. XL મળી જાય, then you can get Z, R square. Now જે બે resistor છે એનું importance અહીંયા છે. We will say R square plus XL square, but here there are two R's, due to one resistors and due to inductor itself. So you have to multiply, combine both of this. That would be 15 ohm. So R plus R whole square plus XL square would be the equation. Okay, so keep this in mind. If there are more than this resistors, you have to add up all them and then take the square. But you 10 square plus 5 square, it is not the correct way. 10 plus 5 whole square is the correct way. All resistance of the circuit would be combined in one resistor and then calculate the Z. So Z is 25 ohm. Once I get Z, what I can get? I can get my this is something. This Z. Now this is one more Z. You can see this is Z of coil. Impedance of coil is calculated differently. This is impedance of circuit and this is impedance of coil. Why it is required to calculate the voltage across the coil? This would be required, but overall voltage જ્યારે વાત કરીએ VRMS, IRMS, at that time this would be considered. So now I can find out my current. I is equal to V by Z. અહીંયા તમારે Z કયો use કરવાનો છે? Overall circuit નો, this one. Okay, so V by Z, we get 9.2 ampere. Then voltage across coil. So coil ની across માં કેટલો વોલ્ટ હોય? I into Z. But Z કોનો? coil નો. ખાલી આના લીધે જ like આની અંદર current flow થતો હોય, that means you have to calculate the voltage across this. So આનો resistance અને આનો impedance, you have to calculate that. So that's why it has Z coil. And a Z coil would be different than this Z. It is 22.36. Why? Because R ની value change થાય છે. See, અહીંયા R હતો 10 plus 5, but here R is only 10. So voltage across coil would be different. Then power factor. Again, power factor આપણે circuit નો calculate કરવાનો છે, not the coil. That's why I'll do R by Z plus like R plus R by Z. So total resistance divided by total impedance. This is total impedance again. 10 plus 5 divided by 25. And voltage across 5 ohm resistor you can easily calculate, but use the resistance of coil on resistance of the 5 ohm resistor only. So our resistor ni across my voltage find करવો હોય, in that case I am going to use this 5 ohm only and not this 10 ohm. That's why it is I into 5. So I is 9.2 into 5. And you can then calculate power, active power required, that is I square R. So I square into R plus R. Circuit no calculate करना है, that's why R plus R. Or you can do it using this equation also, VI cos phi. So in both the cases you will get the same answer. Okay, as just बतावा માટે કીધું છે. You can use VI cos phi, provided cos phi ખબર હોય તમને. તો cos phi ખબર છે? Yes sir, we know that cos phi. क्या करना है? ये this is cos phi. Power factor is cos phi. So we know that, that's why you can do that directly using this equation. Okay, so we'll stop here for today's lecture and we'll start the RC circuit and RLC circuit in next class. If you have any question you can ask. I'll share this PPT. Lot of things are to be said, like I'm lagging behind in sharing, but I'll do it by today only, so you can refer the material. Okay? If you have any question you can ask or you can leave.
So lagging no means?
Lagging no means